Hello, and welcome to WATcast episode 7?
Yes.
Yes. This consists of
Will.
Aurora.
And I'm Tom. So, this week we're going to do a bit of Meet the Podcasters, because we've been doing this for, up until now 6 episodes, and you probably don't know a damn thing about us unless you're the only people who are listening to this, which are people that already know us.
Yeah, that is fair. I mean, we started off doing a kind of, hello, we're here, let's do a podcast, and it turned into
lols.
And just us trying to make ourselves laugh straight away. We didn't know whether we would be entirely ashamed. I'm only, as it turns out, 90% ashamed of what we do here.
I stopped being ashamed at 5 minutes through episode 1.
I'm just ashamed of my high-pitched giggle in every episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Keep that.
Thanks. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought a good thing to do would just be to kind of talk about, give ourselves 5 minutes to talk about ourselves to each other.
That's weird.
Which is kind of weird.
The thing is, we know each other, me and Will, for the audience. I don't know Tom very well.
Can't see pointing.
I'm pointing at William.
Yeah.
So we know each other already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really, and Tom and Will know each other.
Yeah.
Me and Tom don't know each other that well. We just started recording and was like, hey, well, we're funny.
I met Aurora 5 minutes before the start of the first
Which is amazing that we had this chemistry. So
it's incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, and also the audience don't know any of us, potentially, if you don't already know us.
Everyone knows me. It's fine.
Great. It's that kind of mirth you've got to look forward to. Tom, do you want to go first?
Yeah? 5 minutes?
No.
We don't have a stopwatch.
I'm not 5 minutes interesting.
I mean, the point of this...
I'm exactly 2.
I'm a solid minute of fun. Ladies.
Oh, hey.
No, but I mean, my idea or my feeling with this was we'd just talk about our interests and stuff, so that when we do future episodes, people can go, okay, well, that's that person. They're
bit of
coming from
context.
that.
You're forgetting about the potluck bowl of destiny that's in front of us.
I'm getting to that.
Fucking hell.
There's a potluck bowl of destiny, which has been spoiled, with a number of questions, what we found probably at the top hit of Google, I'm assuming.
The one that I sent you was 3rd link down, and mine was 4th link down.
You really dug deep.
I did.
Right. So we've scoured the deep web for questions.
I believe it's called the dark web.
It's not. From some post that was 50 questions for getting to know you type questions, which will,
and some of them are really dumb.
Some of them are really silly.
But I think there's a lot in there that are not silly. So the ratio to silly versus not silly.
I think should we just have one veto each? Or we can just say, I'm not answering that, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Agreed. Right, Tom.
All right.
Who are you? What do you do?
I am Tom. I am 30 years old. I am originally from Essex, but I've worked very hard to not come across as if that's so.
You've successfully disassociated yourself.
Really hard on my accent.
No, luckily I managed to escape that. If I go back to Essex, I slip back into it when I have to talk to the
ladies,
the people there.
Hello, sweetheart.
Not that bad, but it hitches back a bit.
Tommy Essex.
Yeah, I've been in Brighton for about 12 years. I work for the local authority, trying to. It's a long story, but basically assisting homeless people in one way or another. Sometimes not assisting them.
That sounds like you're just going, I would help you, but not you.
That's pretty much my job.
Wow.
But it's not my personal choice about it. It's we have to do an assessment based on the Housing Act to see whether somebody has meets the threshold for assistance. So that's loads of fun, if you consider a really depressing load of shit fun.
Wow.
Yeah, but you're doing a proper people job.
Yeah, you've got a real job. We had this discussion last week when you weren't here. We were like, he's got a real job.
Yeah.
It's a real job, but it's pretty harrowing at times. So it's nice to have something like this to break up the week and allow my interests out and kind of mess around. In terms of interests, it's the same old shit as everyone else. Movies, video games, books and all that. Music, I've been off for a few years. I mean, there's always a few songs I'm listening to, but there's nothing particularly at the moment. There's no scene that I'm particularly into. Just been reading a shitload from the beginning of this year, because over the last couple of years I hadn't really been reading much at all and felt really bad about it. So in the last 3 months I've read about 15 books or something.
Why do you feel bad about not reading?
Because I always used to read.
I was really into fiction and writing and stuff.
Yeah, I used to read a lot when I was younger. And then it's just sort of... I feel so bad, I haven't read a book. Just by my own standards, I let it drop badly and felt my brain kind of turning to mush after a while.
That's what the internet's for. You read tons on the internet.
But I mean, like, I suppose a good way to approach this is like, what are you reading, playing, watching right now?
In terms of reading right now, I'm reading a book called The Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin, who's probably best known for Earthsea. It's like a book from 1974, which is about, I won't go into it. It's kind of like a sci-fi imagining of if like a Soviet scientist ended up escaping to America in the Cold War, but in a kind of a separated sci-fi look at that. That's pretty interesting.
If you did an Amazon, you'll like this. If you also liked, what would you like?
Oh, God knows. I mean, for the last couple of months, I've been reading nothing but crazy sci-fi. That's what I'm into at the moment. Fine. Just like total escapism for the most part. In terms of like favourite books, I don't even know if I have one anymore. I mean, I've got heavily into like Bret Easton Ellis, like an American Psycho guy when I was younger, and James Ellroy. But now when I go back and read that, it seems a bit puerile. So at the moment, just kind of slightly loopy, kind of interesting sci-fi is what I'm on. In terms of gaming, I think both me and Will are playing through Hotline Miami 2 at the moment. I mean, the last couple of years, indie games have had to like fill the hole that's been vacated by there being not a great deal of AAA releases. So like Spelunky.
Release any good ones?
Yeah. I mean, Spelunky is my favourite game of all time at this stage. In terms of like big AAA games over the last couple of years, I guess Far Cry 3 was probably my favourite. I think they just nailed open world shooting in a way that no one ever really had before. And just that kind of freedom to approach everything the way that you will. I kind of really find that pretty interesting. Obviously GTA 5 I got a lot of love for. Film wise, I'm just still an obsessive of 1960s Japanese stuff, basically.
What?
Yeah,
like, has that got like giant tentacles and shit?
No, it's far more sedate than that, unfortunately.
Is it serious stuff?
Like Akira Kurosawa, the guy that made The Seven Samurai, he's my boy.
He's my boy.
Okay, so if anyone's ever said that about him.
Well, he
or any Japanese filmmaker.
He died about 15 years ago or something.
Before that came into parlance.
Yeah. But yeah, he's my boy. In the last couple of years, I think Under the Skin's probably my favourite film of the last few.
Need to watch that.
That's absolutely
Never heard
incredible.
Of it. You're going to learn about my lack of knowledge of anything media.
It's basically Scarlett Johansson playing an alien going around Glasgow in a white van.
Glasgow?
It's fucking amazing.
Oh,
so
shit.
She's driving, she's an alien who doesn't really know what she's doing, driving around, like she's kind of in like the skin of a human, going around Glasgow in a white van, picking up men and basically devouring them.
Incredible.
It's fucking amazing.
We were just referencing, because like for those listening, we're trying out new mics and we've got these lapel mics. And I was referencing Men in Black and specifically Edgar from Men in Black because I was like, oh, it sounds a lot better if you don't have a neck. So if you tuck your chin in, which is... I want sugar water. A pet cat. That means the world to me.
It's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, legend.
That's so good.
But yeah, it was just weird.
Did you just imagine that? But
I was just imagining Scarlett Johansson, but it was Edgar just with like a redhead wig, just going, I'm in Glasgow. Sugar and water.
In the movie, like she's going around in this van, and like some of the people she's like trying to pick up are actors, and some of them are just like guys in Glasgow who don't realise that they're being filmed talking to Scarlett Johansson in a van.
So it's like a Borat film, but not.
They used elements of that kind of technique to get like genuine reactions from people who are just like these rough working class Glaswegians who are trying to get chatted up.
That's Scarlett Johansson.
Well, you're not really going to assume that's the case.
How old is this film?
It came out last year.
Fucking hell.
You're not really going to assume she's going to be in a white van. You might think that's a bit like Scarlett Johansson, but she's not like dolled up. She looks really like quite ordinary. I mean, she's like a stunning woman, but she looks quite ordinary in the film. Like she's maybe put a little bit of weight on.
Scarlett Johansson?
She's got like quite a cut glass English accent.
Oh, so she's just going around doing Dick Van Dyke in a white van.
Is she like swinging her arms like everyone does? He does an English accent.
She's actually really good. I'm not the biggest fan of her, but she's excellent in it.
I love her. Did she get naked at any point? That's important.
Yes.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Me too.
But again, she looks quite, I don't know, ordinary. Like she's maybe put a little bit of weight on for the role when she's dressed. She's dressed as if like an alien who's trying to dress sexy but doesn't really know how to. But not like
Edgar.
I just imagine like fishnet like tops and stuff.
It's
I don't know why
it's not with braces.
It's not that over the top. It's difficult to explain, but I highly recommend
amazing.
it. It's a brilliant film. I was lucky enough to see it in the cinema, and it was very like Kubrick-esque. I think it's one of the few films that actually
Under the Skin. A review.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
We give 2 thumbs up.
Yeah,
brilliant. That's our new review scale.
That's so good.
Yeah, so these are the things that I know about Tom.
Okay, so those are your that's your pitch.
That's me at the moment.
That's sweet.
I don't have much else.
So if anyone would like to date Tom, this is the number
I'm
you need
in
to
a
call.
long-term relationship and have a mortgage.
I like how that's just like, I'm in a relationship. How can I really seal it down? Yeah, I've got a mortgage.
We have a mortgage together.
I've got financial commitments
I'm about
as
as
well.
taken as you can get without being actively married.
Without Beyonce'd.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm fine to go next, just because I came from a similar area to Tom in the UK, between Ipswich and Colchester, which is kind of like border of Suffolk and Essex.
We went to college together.
Everyone
that's where
who's
we met.
not English is going to be like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's fine. You came from Essex? Oh, incredible. Oh my God. Where the fuck is that?
I think they know Essex. There's an Essex Road in San Francisco. We passed it.
They've got no context for that.
They do.
Well, Essex Road, just like that place in England.
It wasn't
I
called
doubt it.
Essex
There's
Road. It
probably
was
an
just
Essex
called
in New England or
Essex in San
something.
Francisco.
Anyway,
Sorry.
pointless.
Continue.
So we went to sixth form college
We
together.
were in media studies class
We were
together.
in media studies class when we had a mad Scottish teacher called Rita. She was absolutely mental.
Yeah, she used to brag about, she was a media studies teacher who used to brag about the fact that she didn't have a TV.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
she had no real interest in media, which was quite well espoused by the films that she made us watch, such as Breaking Away.
And my personal favourite, Gas Food Lodging.
Gas Food Lodging is an incredible
Holy
film that we have to watch. There's a lot of stuff
fucking
about
terrible.
thermos is about all I remember.
It had I think it was starring Feruza Balk and
Don't know what you just said.
that had remember there was an awful Englishman in that film whose name was like Dank or something?
Yeah, his name was Dank.
Dank. I've never met an Englishman called
now a
Dank.
popular term in young people parlance.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Really?
That's well, Dank, we want that. Do you get me, don't you?
Is it dank or what's that other word that we discovered that was...
Young Touchy this morning taught me you can say peak now. That's
Really?
like bare peak if something's going well. But also like, mate, like she's mugging you off, that is peak. That's like actually bad. So peak or peak.
They need to work that out amongst themselves.
I don't think the kids are interested in what we think of their language.
It's going to cause young blood
I never
confusion.
thought, when I was younger, I never thought that I'd be disconnected from the kids, but I really am
late, dude.
Honestly, it
disconnected.
doesn't take long. You turn away for a couple of years and then you're just like,
And they've got a whole new vocabulary.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Sorry, I've
yeah, great film, but inexplicably on the back, that's what I always remember about this.
this shit.
On the back of this videotape was a picture of Willem Dafoe holding a revolver.
Oh my God.
He is not in the film. Nor is anyone with a revolver. There was no shooting involved. This is like Gas Food Lodging. Well, this looks exciting. The description's accurate. There's Willem Dafoe.
They realised the film was
It's
so
not
jip,
even
a
like-
fake Willem Dafoe would improve it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even like there's a fake Willem Dafoe in the film, because he's quite distinctip
No, there's
with
no
his
faking.
face.
There's not even anyone with slightly bigger than normal teeth. Like,
Or leathery face.
yeah, they're all normal. So yeah, we met in college, and we had the same interest in music, so we hung out and went to gigs and did cool guy stuff.
Wow.
Am I right?
Were you cool guys at school?
Well, we're into new
What did we
metal.
do? Yeah, we did What You Do in 2001
Yeah, to be fair,
/2,
that was
which is
kinda cool.
listen to Limp Bizkit and and move your hand around when you're
And keep rolling.
When I first met Will, he was wearing boots that were so large and covered in so much metal.
Oh my God, were you little goth boy?
The soles were so thick, he was
I've still
lifted
got
up.
them. Those are in my
Holy fuck.
car right now.
Really?
And my new rocks.
You had that, and I think you had dyed
Fucking
blonde
hell.
hair and a large black trench coat. Everything was pretty close after the Matrix at this stage, so it's understandable.
Yes. That was in the stage where I was in love with the Matrix as well.
Yeah,
No,
it was
I had long ass hair down to. The point I moved down to Brighton, I had hair halfway down my back, which is hilarious now because I'm bald as a coot.
but yeah, like we, I was trying to remember, like, we met in media studies class, and that's where we met Jack and a few other people, friends of ours now.
And I kind of fell in with you a lot.
And and then we all went to different unis, and then stayed in touch, and we now Aurora and I work in Brighton, so I'd see Tom more, which is cool, which is good. I live in London. What do? I work for a video games middleware company. I guess that's what we call middleware. Basically, my life job is all about helping people make games and helping more people make games, with the end result being of hopefully one day there will be much, much better games and more people who are able to sort of express themselves creatively and all that kind of stuff.
That's a hideously vague description.
No, I kind of like, when I was like going through uni and stuff, I did like an interactive media course, and it was all very vague of like, try out web development, try out video editing, try out graphic design. And I was interested in games and stuff like about halfway through the course, but there wasn't really any way to do it. And the software that we work for allows people to do that, and I think that's really cool.
Cool.
And what did you do after that? You went into movies and games and things, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was just trying to remember like how much you talked about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like lots of different music. Like I play guitar and drums and bass and things in a band called The Males. You can check them out. We haven't really done anything for a while.
Plug.
Little sploosh name drop. And then I do my own electro music on SoundCloud. You can find. But yeah, I mean, I'm into rock music primarily, but then I'm into lots of 80s things, which means I listen to lots of these sort of new wave 80s-y things like Mitch Murder and Perturbator and Carpenter Brute. Basically everything that's on the Hotline Miami soundtrack, which is like why that game is such a joy for me right now, is all of these amazing sounding peoples, like Kavinsky as well, all this kind of like French electro 80s-y.
It's all about
referential.
Justice. Like Justice kicked that shit off a couple of years ago, and it's still pooping along in the background.
Yeah, I find myself more into other people than Justice now. But anyway, and then like obvious rock bands like Metallica and Megadeth and like metal like Haunted and all kinds of shit, Mastodon, all that cool stuff. And then, movies, again, I really love 80s things, from action films like everything Arnie's ever done. Yes, even Jingle All the Way. And then, just stuff from my childhood that I'm obsessed with, like Flight of the Navigator and Short Circuit and all of those things.
Battery's not included?
Battery's not included.
Stuff I've never seen.
Definitely. And then, like I'll watch any kind of action piece of shit. Like anything that Statham does, I'll just watch it for some reason.
Or even like Cranked.
I have a soft spot for Crank.
I love Crank.
The first
Crank's like one of his
I
best
haven't
movies.
seen the second one.
What?
The first one was great.
Oh, the
You've
scene
got to
in the
watch the
first
second
one
one,
where
it's
he
incredible.
fucks his girlfriend in the
That's the first
petrol
one.
station. That's what I'm saying. That's fucking hilarious.
I saw
Oh,
that
man,
in the
two's
cinema.
amazing.
It was amazing. Like, just big screen, Statham fucking weird.
Two's got a scene that inexplicably turns into him and another guy fighting, but in the form of Godzilla-style paper mache close-up monsters halfway through the fight. It's amazing. And just random, some porn star shows up in the middle of a protest as a little cameo. It's a fucking great film.
Oh, I really
watch
need
it.
to watch it.
That
I think it was on Netflix for a while.
Crank 2, High Voltage. How many Toms out of Tom was that?
A Tom and a half.
That's a Tom and a half.
Actually,
even though he hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen
he
High
hasn't
Voltage.
seen it.
Just the first one.
I would rate it five Toms up out of 5.
For some reason, the
only a
cover of
2-point
that
scale.
film. Like,
Sorry.
it's okay. For some reason, the cover of the DVD cover is just burned in my mind, where he's got like the
thing on his tongue.
Yeah, the crocodile clip thing
High
on his
voltage.
tongue. For some reason, doing like a wince.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll watch any kind of shit like that. I'm trying to think of like, because I think of like my Blu-ray collection, which is like films that I want to watch again in decent quality, as opposed to just shit I'll download or stream, whatever. It's mostly just Arnie movies, John Carpenter movies, again with the 80s connection, or yeah, just any kind of action, and like weird things like American Psycho and Rules of Attraction, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. Love that movie.
Never seen
It's good.
Oh, it's fucking
It's
great.
good adaptation.
Although if you throw any film, I'm just going to I haven't seen it.
I'm only going on about films a lot because I can't read. I'm basically illiterate. I've read about 4 or 5 novels in my life, which is pretty embarrassing for a 31-year-old man.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I just don't really read particularly fast, so I get frustrated. And then I read comics, which is where I read comics.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is there anything you're into at the moment, comic-wise?
big lover of comics. I've gotten really into Invincible. I didn't know that was a thing, and then someone said, "Yeah, you should really read Invincible," and it's an incredible what I'd call a new take on superheroes, because it's just a really different, like, it's about a kid whose dad is like the main Superman-style superhero in their world, and then he discovers that he's sort of a member of the family and will inherit those powers. And it's about him getting those powers and then finding out his dad and the world isn't quite what he thought he would be. I don't want to go into spoilers, but it's really good and really different.
I've actually been off comics for a few years, but just because it got like I was most into them at a point when I was desperately poor and had to basically give it up, or I was going to be horribly in debt, because it's a really expensive habit to get into. But the stuff that's where my heart really is like Fables, Powers.
I love
Just
Fables.
started Fables.
So
Fables
good.
is fucking incredible. Like,
I
it
always
peters
resisted
out
it for
a bit.
ages because I was just like, I don't
I remember
like
I
fairy
told you about
tales.
it, and you're like, I hate it. And I was like, no, it's not what you think it is. Just read it.
Yeah, it's
I
truly
think
awesome.
I think I was sort of put off it as like an ex-girlfriend was really into it. I was going like,
Fairy tales.
yeah,
It's not the same.
Powers
No, it's really
is
not.
absolutely
I've
incredible
now read
if you get the
some
chance. 100 Bullets was great for most of its run, and then
Is
sort of...
Powers
petered
anything
out.
to do with the Sony
Yeah.
TV series?
Yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to see that yet, but
Because I
the
looked at the
comic...
trailer, it looks mental.
Yeah, the comic, just go back and read the comic. It's
Okay.
fucking incredible. Like, the art style takes a little while to get used to. It's one of those styles where about halfway through something flips in your brain when you realise, oh no, shit, he can draw anything in this style. And he draws some like really deeply unpleasant dismemberment in it. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm on board.
Cool.
I'm on board.
I mean, I'm really bad with comics. I think I'm a bit of a like Luddite. It's not that I like classical styles like of drawing, but there's some art styles that I just get completely put off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was reading The Losers.
Yeah.
And about 4 graphic novels in out of like, I think there's 6 or so, they just changed artists to someone different. I was just like, it's not the same characters
it can
anymore.
be
It's
really,
not the same
really
world, and it
grating.
just threw me right out of it. And like, I can't get into, like, everyone I know seems to love Arkham Asylum as a book, the Grant Morrison one. But it's like
flipped
real
through it.
painterly style, like watercolory, like, and then like insane, like, what's it called? Fear and Loathing. What's the guy I'm thinking of? The artist.
I don't know the name of the artist.
But yeah, that kind of crazy, hectic style. And it's just like, I don't like this. Like, I get that the story's maybe compelling, but I didn't get it at all. But what I really love at the moment, Saga.
Yeah, I bought the first book of that on your recommendation mostly, and like kind of enjoyed it, but didn't find myself chomping to get into the next one.
It's quite
but
slow. It's quite
maybe it changes.
basic, but yeah, it's really cool art and just really weird, random space romance story.
Did you ever try Transmetropolitan?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, fucking
Got
love
all of
that.
it. It's fucking ace.
Yeah.
And then one that I just ordered, which I was really confused because I got a text from Amazon saying your order of thingy has been delayed. And you know, when you look at something, you're like, your order of, like, before that, it was like, a mug tree has been delayed. Like, yeah, fine. Next, your order of sex criminals has been delayed. I'm like, just looking around if anyone's spotted that. Sex Criminals is a book that I haven't read because it's been delayed by Amazon. But it's about a couple who discover that when they have sex, they stop time. And it's about them having sex, stopping time, and doing bank jobs. Imagine that pitch.
Hang on a minute. This sounds like a would you rather than we
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered this in like episode 3.
This is mental.
But someone's managed to turn it into a graphic novel.
Fair enough.
And we've got no royalties.
I really want to know how that works because, like, do they have to be banging out while in the bank doing it, like
just
walking
do it.
in?
I don't know if he has to maintain the lob on throughout the bank job. That would be awkward.
You have to contain this level of like arousal.
Yeah.
Arousal.
Arousal.
It's an interesting idea.
He's arousal.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that. And yeah, I love comics, and I can't read novels particularly well, so I haven't. I think the last one I read was Under the Dome. It's a huge Stephen King thing. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's me and my interests and things. I'm Will, thanks. Aurora, what do you do? Who are you?
I am, well, you know, my name is Aurora. I'm really shit at talking about myself, so it will probably last for like 2 seconds. Yeah, I work with Will, again, at a middleware company for video games. And I do this thing called, and no one understands what it is, called community management, where I just help people and shit.
You also get really, really quiet when you talk about yourself.
Yeah, because I don't like it. I fucking hate it. My mic's like levelled to pick me up loud and I just suddenly go...
Do you mean turned down because you're normally really fucking loud? Yes, that's what it is.
That's what I mean.
I was just going, what's gone wrong now?
Turned down for what? Yeah, I can't talk about myself, but I will try. Okay. Yeah, so I do community management. I just take a bunch of feedback and help people who are having troubles, and I feed it back to the company, and the company go, yeah, we should change it. Kind of, sometimes.
Sometimes we do.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
What do you like and where are you from?
What do I like and where do I'll start where I'm from. I'm actually French, born and bred, and French is my first language. And for some reason, I've got an East End London accent. I don't know why. I
had just one VHS tape.
Actually,
it was Mary Poppins.
Yeah, and I took after the chimney sweep.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. When I was when my parents decided to throw me into a school in England, having just known French all my life.
It was Grange Hill.
No, like my teacher was Glaswegian. So I picked up a Glaswegian accent, and my parents are like, we don't understand what our child is saying to us.
So they just stopped talking to you, and you fell in with a gang and were raised by them?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all tied together now.
What age did you move over then?
I think I was 4 when I moved over. But I'd already started, because the French school system is a bit weird, so I'd already started school. So I started school, then I had a mysterious break all of a sudden because you start later than we do. So then I went back into school, but it was an all different language. I didn't understand anything. But apparently I picked it up in like 3 months and spoke perfect English, and that was
What happened since then?
Yeah.
I know. Like, what happened?
Been eroded.
I don't know. Now I'm completely illiterate.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm interested in video games heavily. I don't read books. Well, I kind of read books sometimes. But they just bore me.
You just mean video game manuals, right?
Yeah. I used to read them. They used to be interesting, like all thick and shit. And now
you
they're
get nothing now. You get
like little cheats in the back.
You get a little insert that allows you to, like some DLC code if you like.
My favourite game manual to read back in the day was the Tekken ones, because they had little character profiles.
So fighting games backstories are one of the most retarded.
Love that. I used to keep them and just like read all the like backstories of my favourite characters. It was great. God. It's just the wonder years. Yeah, like I've just been heavily into video games, and since I was a kid, really. I had to hide it quite a bit though, because back in the day it was a bit
back when
weird.
they were illegal.
Yeah, back when they were illegal, and I had to like.
Hold on, is this Flashdance?
I've not seen that film.
No, that reference will be lost on anyone really. I think.
Yeah.
So who are you hiding it from? Your family, your friends?
No, well, people at school and stuff. Because back in the day, you know, when back in the day, it wasn't typical for a girl to be into video games and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'd be really weird. So I just really wouldn't talk about it. And I got bullied quite heavily. So I was just like, well, that's another weird thing to add to the list. Let's tone that down.
Right.
And
the other weird things?
Just like being French and shit.
Oh,
Apparently
right.
that was weird. And my last name, which is completely incomprehensible.
To be fair, like I remember when you had, like when you're at school, especially like primary school and stuff, when there was like, there's a new student, like first you were a new student, like joining the school, and then second, I didn't do this. I remember like our kind of feelings about new people. Stranger, who's that? It was always just like, and then I think we had like a French kid, we had an American kid called Mark at some point, but he was American, so he was like a novelty and like instantly cool, even though he had a head like an egg. Yeah, it was always just like, oh, they're a bit, you never like I can understand why it must have been a bit weird
it was really weird
to join as a Frenchie.
Yeah, you don't need any extra differences in school. Well, maybe it's different now. I was bullied incredibly heavily from high school onwards, really, and
till now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we still bully you every day.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, that's okay.
No, that sucks, because that's something we never, like video games as a boy, like you never really have to consider that sort of shit, because it's just a normal boy thing to do.
But once you get into an age where like technology makes sense for everyone, but when we were at school, it was still like, you know, you were a fucking nerd for going and hanging in the computer labs at lunch or whatever.
Yeah, I used to do that in year 7. I played like Wolfenstein.
And then there was Doom
Wicked.
deeply buried in our servers somewhere at school, so we could get into that. But it was never really considered like a geeky thing. My school was fucking lame to the point where the cool kids were the kids that...
But they were just the really smart kids.
No, the cool kids in my school were into like fishing.
What?
Yeah, apparently that's fucking cool. They used to come in at lunchtime and be playing with their fucking bait
Hold on, Tom.
alarms.
Are you saying that fishing is like fly as fuck?
Oh my god.
I'm as disappointed as you are.
That's so
yeah, they're fucking
weird.
idiots. I went to school with a bunch of fucking morons. None of them are going to be listening to this, so I can say it out loud. They're fucking
That is
idiots.
so
I don't know. I'm going to go
weird.
on the fishing forum and start spreading this around.
These kids used to come in with bait alarms, and I know enough about fishing
What
to
is
know
a
the
bait alarm?
Bait alarm is something you set up, so when you get a snag on your line, it just like triggers it off, and it goes beep. So they're basically
Doesn't that scare the fish away?
Yeah, they're for shit lazy fishermen, basically. But they was just like, it was something to come in and compete with at school. They were fucking morons.
Hang on.
I'm really annoyed that I got fucking bullied for bringing in like N64 magazine. That was weird. You've got fucking bait alarms.
So he didn't.
I not me. It was
No,
the
I
cool
know,
kids.
but the
That wasn't
cool
even cool.
kids
Yeah.
at your school.
Everything was inverted in my school. To be fair,
So fucking weird.
I did a lot of dumb shit at school that got me bullied, but yeah, it was not because the cool kids were actually cool. They just sort of got together and decided they were cool. It was like some sort of cool cabal.
Shit, I never thought of that at school. You could just decide you were cool.
Apparently it worked for them.
Just own it.
Because all the cool girls were into like fucking horses. They were all fucking idiots.
Hang on
They
a
were
minute.
doing what?
You just insulted my face.
You were fucking horses as well. What?
They were into horses.
Oh.
They were horsey girls.
I misheard
who
you.
spent all their time talking about how they were going to go up the stables and groom some horse or other. Fucking who gives a shit?
I did.
Horses.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is my childhood, was like my sister. So my parents had an equestrian
forgot
shop, as you know.
You just insulted two fucking
Tom's
people.
very aware of this. Like he
I have no problem with horses so much as horsey girls.
No, I mean, I
was
totally
a
agree
horsey
with it.
girl.
It's
totally
horsey
fine.
people. Like the horses are fine, beautiful, majestic creatures.
Actually, I don't like
It's
horses
the
very
fucking
much.
people. Yeah, with their scary eyes, evil
My only
motherfuckers.
experience of horses is at like the crowd control outside football matches, and they're scary fucking horses with policemen on top.
They're lovely.
No, they're
Lovely, they're there to kick you.
they weigh 3 tons and they're as dumb as a dog. There's nothing cool
They
about
are
that.
not dumb.
But what would you rather
like a
fight?
I'm going to argue
A
this.
giant dog or
I would rather
What
fight
would you rather
a
beat up?
dog-sized horse than a horse-sized dog.
dog-sized horses or one horse?
Okay, for
One
some reason,
horse-sized dog.
I had a dream last night where my girlfriend had gone out and bought a puppy, but the puppy was about 2 millimeters high.
Oh, want that?
No, but it was basically like it was like not fully formed. It was like a fetus puppy, and I was like trying to feed it with like a glove. I was trying to like pinprick a glove with milk in it.
That's incredible.
And then something happened, and it just got killed because it was like a millimetre high. And I remember talking to my girlfriend, being like, well, no, but she'd been kind of conned into buying it. Like she'd been a bit unwise. I was like, we're going to have to
Did she trade like 3 magic beans for it?
We're going to have to take it back. This is
looking into the distance. They were like, see that dog over there on that mountain? That's the dog you're going to buy. She's like, well, that seems like a legitimate size for how far away it is right now. And they're like, as I was holding it up. Right in front of
this dog is so
I don't know, I wasn't there when it was bought. She just comes back very proudly with this like bean-sized fucking puppy. It was quite cute, but I was like, this is a fetus puppy. This is not fully formed. I think this should still be with, or ideally inside its mother.
So weird.
That's more of
It's a fucking weird dream.
Right, horsey people, carry on.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know where I got to. Where did I fucking get to? Yeah,
You're getting bullied for being an N64 now. And then somehow we got onto a microscopic dog.
I mean, that's the best course of action, isn't it?
Yeah, get on with it.
So, topic of horses. I was into horses when I was at school. Yeah. I trained with an Olympic trainer and everything.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I've ridden the horse. It was all right.
Yeah, I used to do it a lot. And then I didn't anymore because tragedy. I won't pull that lever. In video games. Oh, what am I into right now? Fucking Star Trek. So hardcore, right?
Should we just point out what you're wearing right now? Aurora is styled with a Captain Picard style hoodie from Next Generation.
I must say it's fucking awesome, and I'm pretty jealous.
It's great, isn't
You're
it?
into TNG.
Hold on a minute.
What?
Why are you not wearing this, Tom?
Because I don't own one, but if I did,
You're
I
a
would
bald
wear
gentleman.
it.
This would look incredible.
Oh my god, yeah. Actually, is it okay to say this? I don't know.
Is it offensive by any slim chance?
There's a guy in our company who looks
Tommy K.
incredibly like Captain Picard, and I keep meaning
trying to goad him into saying make it so.
Oh no, he's done it before.
No, he's done it before because I did mention it in a meeting once. I was like, hang on, this is important.
Yeah, he's a ledge.
So I keep on forgetting to bring my hoodie in just so I could take a photo of him wearing it, and then the internet would love it.
Well, you need to make that so.
Yeah, I know, but I keep forgetting. And I need to get the communicator badge. But I was never really into Star. I'd watch it occasionally on telly, and then probably sometime last year I was just like, I'm going to watch The Next Generation because I have a lot of time on my hands, I guess. So I binged watched the whole thing, and I was like, that was amazing. And then I started on Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine's my jam. It's different. It's more political, and it's got more of a running plot all the way through.
I've had this conversation with somebody else, actually. It gets there eventually, but it starts off really fucking shit.
It starts off a bit flat, but I love the fact that there is a through line. TNG is all just episodic. There's really no. I love it, and that's its strength. But Deep Space Nine ends up necessarily being a lot deeper.
Now, I don't know anything about this particularly. I watched a bit of TNG at some point. Is DS9 the one where they went mental with the characters?
How do you mean?
Visually? Was that the one with Odo?
Yeah, Odo the Changeling.
Yeah, they must have spent a lot on prosthetics.
The shapeshifter guy.
He's the same guy. Yeah. And there's a Ferengi.
Oh, who am I thinking of? That's the chef who's really fucking annoying. Who's just got whiskery things.
He talked like
no, that's Voyager. That's Neelix from Voyager.
Neelix, that's the one thing. That all kind of blends together in my head.
All the prosthetics just blend into one.
It's like the end of Terminator 2 where he's just swooshing around.
On at the same sort of time, so it's easy to conflate.
So then recently, as in last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I got into the original series because it's on American Netflix. So I've watched. I mean, it's 30 episodes a season. It's giving me really.
How many seasons were there?
3.
Is that all?
Yeah, but it's that's 60.
That's quite a lot. Actually,
90 episodes. It's quite a lot.
Well, we're used to things now getting to 6 seasons and having 22, 24.
Exactly.
So not so much nowadays, which is good for the story, I think. But yeah.
And I was tweeting my mate about it because I tweeted out how much it's giving me weird dreams because I'm literally just going home watching a bunch of 60 Star Trek and then go to sleep and then my brain just runs away with it and it's fucking mental.
Is it Shatner thrusting at you in your dreams?
Pretty much. And he had a raging boner in one of the episodes I watched. It was really obvious. It's so weird. Anyway, so I was having a conversation. So season 1 was really good. There's some like really cool episodes in it. And then season 2 just starts off with like Spock needs to bone someone, otherwise he's going to die. And then he beats up Kirk, and then he doesn't need to bone anyone. And that's the episode. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Now, when you say beats up...
Beats up as in like punches and shit, not like...
Not beats off.
It's really like very stiff chops. I like his chops.
It's just, it's like, it's gone mental. And now I'm just like, oh, I'm not sure I'm enjoying this anymore. But I'm going to stick with it because why the fuck not? I'm super into it. Yeah.
We started watching it, like my girlfriend had never watched it, then they put it all up on Netflix last year, and I started off like watching it as, before, starting to watch in bed, and she was hating it to start off with, and then about halfway through started loving it.
Yeah.
When someone's like trying to fight something so hard, and the more they fight it, you can tell they're actually getting into it, and then they eventually took it off Netflix, and now she's really sad because we've got nothing to put on when we go to sleep.
Get Ola. You can, it's like a browser extension.
I watch it through the PlayStation, so difficult.
Just plug your laptop into the telly.
There is a way to like fuck with the DNS settings on the PlayStation 3. You've got to keep changing it. It is a real ball ache typing that shit in with the controller.
It's so good. It's so worth it. I'm so happy right now. But yeah, that's the TV I've been into.
So your modern recommendation is Star Trek from the 60s.
From the 60s. I also have this weird displaced crush on William Shatner, but from the 60s, because now he just looks weird.
Oh, he's awesome. Like, I was really obsessed with Boston Legal when that was around.
My parents are really obsessed with that now, and it's really odd because I'll go into the lounge, they'll be watching Boston Legal, and then I'll go into my room and
he's lost so much weight.
It's like this time warp.
Travel through time.
I'm all about Commander Riker.
Oh god, them chairs.
He's so dreamy.
No, it's like sitting on them chairs is amazing.
That's one of my favourite things.
Just his beard. Holy fuck, his beard.
He gets considerably fatter the longer that season goes on.
He sort of fills out.
Yeah, he really does.
I love it. It's just who could resist Riker?
No one. No.
It's not possible.
Unrivaled sexual power of William T. Riker.
Raw sexual power.
He's in that show to be like the Shatner,
sexy man,
because
there's
Picard
no one
is
else.
so straight laced.
He's too down the line.
Riker's the one who turns up and fucks the blue aliens.
Yeah.
That's his deal.
What?
Well, because
Picard
never bones anyone.
No, that's true.
He's
he did have a thing with like Beverly Crusher.
And then there's that woman who's like an archaeologist who he kind of gets it on with for a little bit, and then she turns up with Q at some point.
Oh, Q was the most fucking annoying character.
I love Q. He's legendary.
Cannot stand that.
What?
Cannot stand it.
He's amazing. He's one of the best things in the whole thing.
Will's lost.
I've got no idea what's happening right now.
Godlike douchebag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
He's an omni-douche.
I'm with you. What's going on?
Yeah, but they use him every time just like as a filler episode, and you're just like, fuck off.
No, they're like the best episodes.
No, they're not. They're really not.
All right, this is strange. Everyone I know likes
his lips
TNG,
annoy
loves
me
Q.
as well. He's got this weird like, what's the actor's name? Because you'll probably know him.
This would annoy me. It's John something, but
He's
I can't
got some
remember.
weird
It's like a
lips.
French. He's got a French surname.
From Stock.
He is not Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Right.
That's telly.
Cool.
Should we
That's
crack
TV.
in with the bowl of wonders?
To be honest, I could do like a whole episode just on TV shows, but that's for another episode. We've got the bowl of...
what was the name we called it?
I don't know. Something to do with destiny.
Bowl of considerable destiny.
Bowl of Destiny's Child.
A bowl of Destiny's Child. Okay, so we've got like 50 things in here, and
we're not going to get through them.
We're not going to get through them.
There's
so we
probably
could
duplicates.
Dip back into the bowl of destiny in the future.
Should we each answer these questions? Because I think it might be interesting, depending on what the questions are.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. So I'm going to pose the first question, and then I'll answer it last. Okay, so Aurora,
yes.
What do you consider the most important event of your life so far?
Oh my god!
Just a shallow cut to start off.
That is so deep.
It's picked at random. These are like out of a hat, by the way. I didn't choose that one.
God.
What's the most important event of your life? And don't say like Redst or like
Rest.
E3.
the best convention you've ever been to.
No. Yeah, events are happening, not necessarily.
The most important event.
Convention.
Well, I haven't done anything like get married or anything, or buy a house or done anything significant. I don't think.
So
I know there's fun
it hasn't
things.
happened yet.
Well, there's fun things and there's tragic things.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're construing important as like potentially constructive. So yeah.
What do you mean a constructive?
Well, you're saying like tragic things.
Well,
like you're saying important, it doesn't necessarily need to be good, which is a good point.
Yeah. Well,
it depends how deep you want to go. Obviously, we don't want to.
It's pretty tragic. Like I had to, when I was 17, I had to make the decision to put my horse down because my parents were like, "It's your horse. See you later." And I was like, "Cool." And that changed a lot of shit. Like it changed what I was going to do at uni. It changed like pretty much my entire life course. I probably wouldn't have ended up at video games, which is pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's when it's weird. On the happy side, most important, probably playing Street Fighter with Ono, who created Street Fighter, using a Steel Battalion controller, which is the most amazing event ever.
I didn't understand any of that.
If you're a gamer, you understand.
I know what a Steel Battalion controller is, but why were you
Imagine playing Street Fighter with it
against the guy who created Street Fighter on that?
No, we weren't playing against. We were trying to complete Street Fighter, the campaign, on hard, just using Steel Battalion
that
controller.
Sounds troublesome and awesome.
That's mental.
It's fucking hard as shit.
How did you meet that guy?
What do you mean?
How did you get into that scenario? I mean,
Tinder?
Yeah, I just swiped to the right and there he was. Like, do you want to play some fucking
what are you
Street Fighter?
into? Legendary video game creator. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Go on then.
I do this thing called cosplay, which is fucking weird. I dress up as video game characters and I happen to be kind of good at it. So I did a Street Fighter character and they're like, "Hey, do you want to meet the dude and like play Street Fighter with him?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But they didn't tell me.
I imagine this will be with some kind of ordinary controller. Yeah.
Well, they didn't tell me. Actually, my mate didn't tell me because like, so I went to Capcom. I'm mates with people there anyway, just in general. And they were like, "Come to Capcom, you play some Street Fighter, meet Ono, it'd be great." I was like, "Wicked." And I knew it'd be filmed, but I didn't know exactly what. And then my mate was just like, "Oh yeah, you ready for the triple boss challenge?" I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah.
Did they even make Steel Battalion?
Yeah, well, why did that come into it? Are they just like, "Oh, we've got to make this harder. What's the most obtuse controller outside of the PlayStation
They recently released, well, I think it was last year, they had Steel Battalion for the Kinect, which didn't do very well. But I think that was a Capcom game, so maybe the previous one was a Capcom game. Either way, they had a controller lying about.
Is it full software that make that shit?
Anyway,
so yeah, that was pretty fucking cool.
Cool. Right, Tom, what do you consider the most important event of your life so far?
Okay, so...
That's a Hanukkah. Sorry. Just had to get that in there.
Okay, I mean, probably the most significant is something that didn't actually happen to me. It's probably when my mum met my stepdad, because that's probably the event that's had the most effect on my life. Because my parents separated when I was quite young. My father later died a few years after that, but in the intervening time, my mum met my stepdad, Andrew, who's an absolute fucking legend, and if that hadn't happened, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here. The course of my life would have been very much different. So in raw terms, that was probably the most significant event.
Cool.
I'll say.
See, that's how to answer something in a succinct yet touching manner.
Sorry.
I've got nothing.
You've got nothing?
I've been thinking about it. I was like, shit, I'm going to have to answer this one in a minute. What do you consider most important? There's things where I'm like, oh, that was really good.
Was it when you got two for one on mandarins at Waitrose? It was just a really good day.
They're doing 2 for 1s. I've got to go, guys. I'll see you later. No, I don't know. I mean, I think some of those things where I've been like, oh yeah, that's kind of paid off kind of thing. In a kind of Alan Partridge.
That bank job paid off.
Needless to say, I had the last laugh. But no, when I finished uni, I applied for one of the teaching roles where I was studying my course in Bournemouth, and it was weird because I couldn't really dress particularly smartly, so I just had my kind of cobbled together tie and shirt and
New Rock boots.
Yeah, probably some weird boots plus flares. It was just I looked imagine if you tried to dress up as like the Beastie Boys in that video where they were cops. I probably looked like that.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
I probably looked like that. And then there were lots of business jerk type guys who had proper suits and briefcases and laptops and things, and I was like, why am I applying for this job that this doesn't make any sense? But for some reason they gave me the job, probably because they realised they didn't have to pay me much. But at the time I was finishing uni, so I was like, oh God, what am I going to do with my life? I've learned, 6 skills, not very well. And it turns out that's great for teaching. To be mediocre at a number of tasks.
Well, that's what happens to everyone when they leave uni. They become like the shitty jack of all trades.
Yeah, but I got paid for it. So.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
You did it.
So yeah, that was kind of important in the sense that I was like, I felt reassured and like teaching. I had no aspirations to teach, but it ended up giving me loads of confidence, and I found an outlet for my unending well of sarcastic bullshit that I like to throw at the youth of today. And consequently, that's how I ended up meeting my girlfriend, now Beyonce. Which sounds really pedo-y, but it's not. Like, she was a couple of years younger than me, and she was doing a master's course, so it was totally legit.
Did that sort of set you on your path career-wise?
Yeah, I mean, so that's also like crucial, because that job was where I picked up the software that I now work for, that company. Deliberately not naming, but
even though everyone knows already.
Even though everyone knows.
So it's not besmirch their name.
Easy for you to say. I mean.
Apparently not. I was going to say de-smirch. That's not a word.
De-smirch.
Easy to dick smash. But yeah, I mean, that's how I ended up, working where I work now, which is really cool, and I'm very lucky. So I suppose getting my first job, which led to me to that's not my first job. I worked in Waterstones, which is incredible. I worked in
for somebody who doesn't read books.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't read books. What?
Can you recommend me?
Is this any good?
Anything's possible in it.
It's a book. HMV's up there, mate. No, Waterstones was a wicked job. It was just, it was really dull, and people asking really weird questions. Mostly because, like, I work downstairs where the mind, body, and spirit section is.
Oh my God, that
so
sounds
always
amazing!
Had absolute nut bars buying David Icke books, and just like
that's just everyone who. What's that magazine we fucking got?
Spirit and Destiny.
Spirit
from,
and Destiny
episode
buyers
5.
in a Waterstones.
Yeah,
sounds amazing.
It was good. There was lots of fun to be had with people who come into a bookshop. There's just some kind of like, it's like attracts lots of weirdos in the same way I imagine libraries do. Like, people just think they can go there and sort of browse in this really quiet environment and chill. So you often had a lot of homeless people there, just vibing, just on a come down. We'd slowly sort of usher them back upstairs. You're not wanted here, sir. Sorry, very sorry. Very sorry. And then also, like, you used to get the tags, electronic tags in books, which was cool because then you could take them out and they were sticky. So the best thing to do was just to take some of these tags out. We had loads of them because you had to go and put them in new books. Get these electronic tags that set off the barriers by the doors. You just go and sort of unpeel them on your lunch break and sort of put them upside down outside in this arcade so that people would eventually tread them in. And then look like they were stealing books. And then because it was Waterstones, people were a bit hoity and they were just kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to check.
You have to stretch search you.
I have to check your books, madam.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, there was amazing stuff working at Waterstones.
There's some pranks.
And there was always great phone calls as well. I remember this old lady phoned up and she was like, yes, I'm trying. I wonder if you can help me. I'm like, yes. What can I do for you, madam? She was like, I'm trying to cook a chicken, and I need to know how long it should be in the oven. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
Oh, okay.
Sounds like you need a recipe book.
And I was like, well, we've got a number of recipes. And she was like, well, I looked at the instructions and it's not specific enough. And like a number of the amount of time, I thought, well, fuck it, I'll humour her on board. So we had a little chat about the chicken. I gave her some advice, and after a short time, I realised that she'd actually dialed Waitrose because it's WA and not Waterstones at all.
I'm not sure they're the people.
Because she started asking if she could bring it back, and I'm like, I just found myself saying, "You can't bring a chicken here," and then realised that wasn't normal for a bookshop.
Chicken here.
Can't bring the
Brilliant.
chickens in here. Important life event, job, cool, done. Next question.
Right, let's have another dip.
All right, someone else.
Dip.
You have a dip.
Have a little
Dip hard and dip true.
Wow. This looks like a short one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've got the headphones on, so that was enjoyable.
How fast do hotcakes sell?
How fast do cupcakes sell?
Hot cakes.
Fast. I mean, why the fuck is that a question?
It's from the list that you told me to pull from.
I didn't read it.
Dick. Let me pull another one.
Yeah, do a fresh one. How is that getting to know you?
If it's how much would
know.
chuck, then I'm going to be furious.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be caught dead where?
Oh, good.
I was going to say something then, but it would have been both humorous and terrible, so I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
What? I mean,
No, I
this is
absolutely
perfect.
can't, because it wouldn't come across. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
Wow, that is cryptic, but please
Yeah.
give us your real answer.
I wouldn't be caught. If this is a where?
Yeah, like you wouldn't be caught dead where?
Yeah,
West Street on a Friday night.
I don't know
I mean,
what
that's
that
very
means.
specific.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, West Street is no,
Describe.
every town has one of these. It's
Okay.
like the shit streets where poorly dressed Ben Sherman wearing shirt
You're
chavs
just
goes
saying
to
you would
glass
be
each
caught
other.
dead in the average club.
Yeah, basically. The average club or your fucking Yates Wine Lodge. That's what they call it. They call
Is
it.
it called
It's called
Wine
a
Lodge?
Are you
Yates Wine
serious?
Lodge.
Fucking
I
hell.
thought it was
I remember Yates.
Bar and Club.
What?
Yates Bar and Club.
I swear
We'll
it's used to be
verify
called
this
a wine
later.
lodge. Anyway, I wouldn't be caught dead in one of those teeny bopper shitholes to save
Teeny
my life.
boppers.
Yeah,
Wicked.
We're probably a bit old for that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
But at the time, it was pretty harrowing as well.
Yeah, no, it's horrific.
Oh,
Never like that.
that's
I
weird.
I can't
I
deal
just-
with raw displays of machismo or like poorly dressed.
Machismo. Someone
sick,
please
like-
explain.
Just like, you know, guys.
Macho people.
Yeah, macho guys.
Machismo being the...
Guys who are kind of going out drinking loads of vodka Red Bulls looking for a fight. Slappery girls on
Yeah,
hen nights.
There's
just
an
that whole-
amazing
that whole thing.
Louis C.K. diatribe just about going out to get laid dudes and how they're just angry when they don't get laid. They're just full of cum and it's coming out their eyes. And
Oh my god.
it's an incredible image.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it justice.
I've never been
Cunt
that
ears.
guy. I've never liked that world. Fuck that.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird.
Aurora, answer that question. I'm reversing the order because I can't
I don't
thought of it
actually
yet.
know. Like, I don't really care.
I mean, we could just go home now if you want. Let's just leave. Yeah, fuck it. I don't care either.
Just fuck
Tom,
it.
should we chip this off?
No, I don't know where I wouldn't be caught dead because I don't have this like embarrassment meter that people
That's
seem
fair enough.
to have. I know. I just don't.
Signified by the hoodie.
Yeah. Look, if you know, you know. If you don't, it's just a black and red hoodie because obviously I chose command.
Right, so you don't have an answer because you're happy anyway.
No, but I will say to Tom's answer, you hate those kind of people. I used to be one of them people.
I can't imagine
I
that.
used to be like, it's weird I had this conversation
I mean,
with
listen to the
my
accent.
mate.
Close your eyes and go, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but that was that was back when I had a really posh accent actually, but for some reason I just went mental and
It's getting
became
harder to believe all the time.
massive sloot.
Right,
So,
in
yeah.
your ute.
Yeah, in my ute, I was a sloot. But yeah, I don't have somewhere where it's like, oh, I wouldn't be caught dead, and I don't know.
Cool.
Oh, Brewers
talk.
Fair. Any like
Brewers Fair.
What's
Yeah.
Brewers Fair?
you know, like kind of chain pubby places that serve
like
unpleasant
Spoonies.
food.
Fucking
Yeah,
love
but like worse than
spoons.
that. But they're like harvesters.
Toby Carvery.
Harvesters.
Harvesters?
Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead in
on,
a
man.
harvesters. No, I'm sorry. I'm a fucking.
That salad bar.
I'm a
Yeah.
massive food snob, so no
Yeah,
harvesters.
you are.
Oh, the places I don't go to, not that I wouldn't be caught dead in, usually like shops that have really bad graphic design signs.
so specific.
I don't go like
I agree with
In
with
front
you
of our-
outright, but
in front of our office, like there's this fucking place called, I think it's called Bon Appetit or some shit.
yes.
And it's got the worst graphic design crap I've ever seen. That's the kind of place I just can't deal with it. It's got some rubbish like fake wood, like kind of pixelated.
I know the place you mean.
Yeah, it's just awful, and
Yeah,
I can't.
It's just not a good sign if they're not going to put the money into making the shop look good. It's probably filled with shit.
exactly. I physically
the budget's
cannot.
not been spent on the food.
No, and TK Maxx. I physically
I fucking love TK Maxx.
I hate it. I
that's
cannot stand
mental.
it. Like, I have just this weird...
These are branded goods at discount prices. You appreciate that, right?
No, I just get branded goods at just the normal price.
Well, you're missing a trick. Get last season's goods. Come on.
Slightly soiled.
No, it's just I fucking hate shops. I can't go into shops that have shop, restaurant, whatever. If it's got bad
If they're just
graphic,
called shop.
if it's got terrible graphic design, I cannot walk into it. I'm allergic to it.
But that's just like shit independent shops that aren't going to be there. Like, a pop-up tourism shop. Like, you've got someone was saying it's been there forever. Like the
Britannia shop.
The Britannia
that
shop.
place. That stuff
They're
makes me
everywhere
sick.
in
For ages,
London,
apparently.
About 4 or 5 years or something.
Yeah, but I mean, they usually pop up and
Do you
go
know,
away again.
but there's so
revolting.
many tourists in Brighton though.
Yeah.
Like they literally ship them in.
They move in clouds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. You cannot walk through the fucking streets because there's a bunch of like
Yeah.
children
Guys, it's
who
only
are
gonna get worse.
speaking
It's
a
getting
different
warmer.
I
language.
work in the South
all
Lane,
in
so
Oh.
I walk through town and there'll just be like 40 fucking German kids standing in the way of me in my office.
and definitely just standing there
Yeah.
in the middle of and then they're walking the road. So when you're trying to drive anywhere, there's just like this horde of people, and it's just like, if a zombie apocalypse happened right now, I'd be fucked. Like, it's just, sorry, this is just the kind of shit that annoys
No,
me.
it is fucking annoying.
William,
Where would you
where
not be
wouldn't
caught
you
dead?
not be caught dead? Wait, whatever. You know the question.
I don't know. That's a really good question. You've sort of covered like lots of places. Like, I could go down an easy route of like, probably not in Pizza Hut because it just disgusts the shit out of me. Or Subway.
I fucking love Pizza Hut.
Fucking hate that shit as well. But that's just
Subway.
food that I don't like. It's not really answering the question.
Oh, we talked. I ate the Pizza Hut burger pizza.
I don't
which was
know,
great.
like places that I'm opposed to. The Church of Scientology, I guess.
Yeah,
That'll do.
good shot.
Good answer.
They'll be picking that up.
You should go to East
Sending,
Grinstead.
coming around to see me and see if
We'll
I
have
Just
a
put
lawyer
a tin
knocking on the
hat,
door in
like-
30 seconds.
Get some tin foil and put it on your head. You'll be
Nobody's
fine.
listening. Tom
Cruise will be
Church of
around your house.
Scientology. Done. Bang. Right.
It's my pick.
It's his
Yeah,
pick.
I was just
Oh, he's
mixing it up for
ruffling.
you.
No, you weren't.
The dip. What have I found in the bowl of destiny, child?
Yes, that was it.
What did you do growing up that got you into trouble?
Oh, I've got an answer to that one, actually.
Will, what got you into trubs?
When I was a kid,
Bear trubs.
I used to go into town with my mate James, like when we were like, I don't even know how old we were actually.
Talk about my James I know.
No, guy who lived up the road from me in our village.
In the village.
In the village. And we'd go into town because we lived out in like the sticks and fields and stuff. So when we went into town, it's like, oh, well, there's actually like a shop for once. Because all we had was the church and the stream. Actually, that was it.
I mean, I grew up in villages. And I don't know what
there
you
you go. So went into town, and like we'd always go, like when you get to town, you get dropped off by your dad or whatever. Going like there's a market, like average kind of like market of all kinds of different things. Not just like fruit and veg that you get nowadays, but like clothes and this, that, and the other.
Like an East End market.
Yeah, like an East End style market in a car park. And we'd go past that. And one day we went into the market and we like realised around like a particular age, we could buy weapons.
Oh my god!
So I just bought so many knives. I just bought a fuckload of knives. I was just like,
What the fuck?
this is cool. But like the thing was like, I had like a couple of knives. I had a pen knife and then I had like a Bowie knife type thing, because like we'd go out into fields and make dens and fuck around and like whittle names into trees and make a bow and arrow out of a branch. And
That's cool.
just like stuff you do when you're a male child living in
Or a female
fields.
child.
Or a female child. a child. And we had like air rifles and stuff. But there was just this point where I was like, you know, I've got access to like actually purchasing stuff myself. Like I don't think I'd started working at that point, but it was like...
What sort of age are we talking?
It must have been an age where I definitely shouldn't have been doing it because I hid them and then my dad found them and went a bit mental. And yeah, so I bought like a bunch. I remember it was really cool. Like, anyway. I'm just missing those knives. I think. Damn it, I really like that knife.
It sounds like the episode of South Park where it turns anime.
Yeah, it just didn't turn out well.
Kill it there.
Yeah. But so I bought all these knives and that was really bad. And it was just a couple of examples I remember from being a kid where I was like really bad at hiding things. Like I think I'd probably put them under the wheelie bin or something, thinking like, well, they're outside. That's a great barrier to begin with. My parents are usually indoors. And then, my dad probably just read, what the fuck is all this doing? And I don't even remember where I hid them, but I remember he found them and that was mental. And also, bought like a bottom live video where there was just like lots of swearing. Like me and my dad would watch it on the TV, and of course it's censored for TV, so the writing doesn't contain swearing, so it's kind of harmless toilet humor and stuff. But then the live show was all about sex and the F word and all that. Why am I saying the F word? We've been saying fuck all the time.
Hell.
They're saying fuck. Explicit. Thanks, iTunes. But so I bought a couple of these videos and I was watching it and I was like, oh God. And then I think like I bought another one because they said, you don't watch that. Like your mum will be annoyed. And then I bought another one. They found that as well. So it wasn't like I got in trouble for like having porn or anything. Much better at hiding porn. Just chuck it in the woods where you found it.
I never experienced this phenomenon. I spent a lot of time in the woods. I never found porn in the woods.
Oh man,
I never found wood porn.
That's where it is.
Is it? And that and beside railway tracks.
And the thing that worries me is that we're now at an age where we should probably go and distribute it back. Are we not? I mean,
just do a national service.
Yeah, it's just like jury duty. No.
I mean,
porn distribution. Okay.
I live in a forest, so I've got like.
So you should have like a t-shirt cannon just firing out FHMs and Maxims.
Oh my God.
Do they even still make Maxim? I don't know.
Yeah, they do, but that's like soft shit now,
yeah, I know, but you're not firing out like, double fisting porn into the woods,
double
are you?
fisting weekly.
Yeah. just a digest of different techniques.
Is your weekly bumper edition.
Yeah, it's got all your fucking favourites. So I got in trouble for buying lots of knives.
Wow.
What do you get in trouble for?
I lived quite a sheltered childhood, so I never really did anything that got me in trouble. Or at least if it did, like I usually get in trouble with my dad, like. Yeah,
that was all mine was. I wasn't like, I didn't try and use them to assassinate anyone.
I didn't really, but the thing is, like I used to get in trouble for not like doing stupid things and like, I don't know, busting it, like falling over and just splitting my knee open and then refusing to go to the hospital because I couldn't be bothered. And now I have a massive scar on my knee as a result. And I used to just get in trouble for hurting myself. Like I fell out a treehouse and then get in trouble for that. It's like, should have been out the treehouse then. It's just really weird.
I mean, hold on. Who built the treehouse?
Next door neighbour or some shit.
Right, well, it's their fault. I mean, if you're a kid and someone presents a treehouse. I had a treehouse. It's fucking ace.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to go up it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right up it.
I never really did anything like bad, or at least not that I got in trouble for.
Right, so hold on a minute. You've used that caveat. Cool.
Tom?
I was always a good boy as well. I can think of very few times when I actually got in trouble. I mean, one of the few times I remember.
Did you get in trouble for that house party we had where?
Not really. My parents were fucking chill about stuff.
Okay, that was amazing.
Yeah, because my parents always used to just like let us not only let us have a house party, they would just like clear off for the evening and go and stay with some friends.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I remember
I'm sure it was as much of a break for them as it was.
They were just happy we had friends. I think for like my 17th birthday, my mum made the vodka jellies for it. Like they were under no illusion that we would be getting shit faced.
Did you have parents that like condone drinking?
Yeah,
they were just fine.
I mean, after
I had the
certain age, they didn't give a shit.
Up until I hit 18 and I could go out and drink, and then my dad was like, "Don't drink ever." But before, he was giving me and my mates like Bacardi breezers and all this shit.
Is there any correlation on the graph of you hitting 18 and being told not to drink with that previous graph where you were telling us about being a young sloot? Where he went, hold on a minute. The drinking is causing a problem.
I think 18's when I hit slut phase, and then and then it slowly tapered down.
Once you stopped drinking.
No, I never really drunk like super heavy. I think it's because my parents they didn't make me drink, but they would acclimatise me to it.
Yeah.
When I was like 16 and like stuff, and then so by the end of it, I was just like not really into. Like I stopped going out and boozing up like when I was like 22. I lost interest in it. Like I was at uni, I was like, I can't be fucked. Like there's no point.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was always pretty responsible, so they didn't really give much of a shit.
So you never got in trouble for anything particularly?
No, not really. I mean, I remember the few times I can remember actually getting properly in trouble was when I was very, very young. So I remember when I was probably about 6 on an infant school, I had a friend called Danny Miller, and he brought his bum bag in with him to school, which dates it so badly. This is when bum bags were cool.
Wow.
Last time around.
And he for some reason was throwing his bum bag up in the air, and it got caught in a tree out in the school playground. And then for a while, me and him and a few other of our friends were trying to like throw a stick up to try and knock his bum bag down without success. So
Is it still there?
and this is what we're getting at. So they went off to go and find the caretaker to go and like get a stick, go and get a broom, and just it was probably no more than about 4 feet in the air, but to us at that age, it might as well have been on the top of the Empire State Building. And so I stayed there to like guard it. And I thought, while they've gone off to try and find the caretaker, I'll continue trying to like knock it out of the tree.
Yeah.
And so I was like throwing like a rock up in the air to try and knock it out. And then I vaguely remember there was like a girl who was probably like a couple of years below or a year below, like wandering around like a fucking moron. And I remember specifically saying to her,
I know where this is
Don't be a
going.
fucking moron.
I remember even specifically saying, mind out of the way, I'm going to throw a rock to like knock his bum bag. And then obviously I threw the rock and it just hit her in the fucking head.
Oh my god.
I knew it was
Was she
coming.
knocked out?
No, she just sort of ran away and then nothing really happened. Then a couple of days later in the middle of class, like she comes into our class with like the head teacher and just like walks around the classroom and goes, him! And I just remember going,
Like a witness identification.
it was horrible. It felt so horrible. And then like pulled me out of class and gave me a strong telling to. And you remember at that age, you can't really explain shit, can you? It's
Yeah,
really
like,
difficult it's really difficult to say, I was trying to tell her to mind out of the way.
I was trying to save a bum bag from a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
There's no way you
Be
can
reasonable.
explain yourself. They've already decided you're guilty, whatever. So I
you're a
remember I got into
dickhead.
trouble for that. And maybe that scared me off trouble for life. I was
Probably.
That
always...
bum bag set you straight, Tom.
Yeah.
It did. It really did. I've always been a
That's
good boy.
crazy.
I remain a reasonably good boy.
You are a very good boy. Right.
You're all picking from the top. What is wrong
All right,
with
I'll
you?
have a bloody
well, no,
rummage.
take that. Oh, you fucking
I didn't look
ruined
at
it
it.
now. He just ends
Oh,
up taking the
there's two
same
there.
one anyway.
Okay. Okay, this is slightly different. This is going back to childhood again. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, mine's boring.
Horsey lady.
It was a vet. Like,
Oh, yeah,
what,
you're right, there's boy.
what girl is just like, because I had animals
Girls who
and
love
stuff.
animals?
Yeah,
I mean,
girls who love animals.
there's
I
nothing
want
wrong
to
with
be
being a vet.
Yeah, I know, but it's just the stereotypical answer, isn't it?
Oh, for a girl.
You know, or,
Okay,
or in
yeah.
general, it's just like I want to be. But then I started playing video games, and I was like, I want to make them.
I want to be a space marine.
I want to be a space marine. Still want to be a space
want to be
marine.
a
Yeah.
Tom.
I wanted to be a film director.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Didn't work out.
Are you sure?
You still could be.
Yeah.
Have you checked lately?
No, I don't think it's going to work out.
Have you Googled yourself? Just saying, am I a film director?
Am I sleeping hours?
Am I
Yeah.
Am I
accountant?
sleep film directing? No, I
quality-
Turns
think
out I directed Crank 2.
I realised kind of fairly early on I didn't have the sort of force of personality necessary to marshal other people to do literally anything, let alone make a film with me.
I don't know, you've got that Woody Allen thing going on.
Thank you.
Not a compliment, but
Villain.
I don't know. I don't think I had an aspiration when I was growing up. No.
Wow.
I honestly don't think, like, I remember thinking, oh, I want to be X, Y, Z. I think I wanted, like, at some point when I was a kid, I wanted to be an animator because I was obsessed with Wallace and Gromit.
Didn't you want to be a rock star?
I thought you were going to say you wanted to be an abacus for some reason.
I want to be an abacus
Oh, I'll be an
because I want to
abacus.
look at numbers.
I'm going to pick another one because that was short
Yeah, it was
and
rubbish.
sweet and rubbish. Oh, this is a long one. If you had a time machine that could take you back in time, what year would you go to and why?
Oh,
I already know your answer.
What? What is it?
Fucking 80s.
That's not a year, and
fair,
that's
you
not a reason.
lived through it as well.
I was already there. No, it would have been rubbish. I like all of the kind of time travel questions. I like living now because like we've got cool things. And I wouldn't like.
What
to
if you could just
live through-
visit it for like a day? Like it was
Yeah, no,
a day
I'm
trip.
not saying that's my answer. I'm just saying like, yeah, I'd still rather live now. But a time I would probably go to, is it 67 Woodstock? Like whatever year that was with Hendrix, and just hang out and watch the performances and just
That'd be fucking amazing.
I've been watching lots of Foo Fighters documentary, Sonic Highways, lately, which is amazing. People should check that out. It's just like a documentary in like a bunch of different cities chronicling like the history of American music. But that kind of made me think about like being around and listening to real music at a specific place and time. That means I'm going to a place as well as a year, so I'm kind of adding something to the
time
question,
and space machine.
Well, that's fine.
But fuck it, that's what I'm having.
Time and space
Woodstock.
usually interlinked.
Yeah. Tommy.
I honestly don't know. There's nothing that like pings out of my mind particularly as, man, I wish I was there, which is probably a bit sad.
Like moon landing or something, you could like witness like the feeling and
I don't
Watching
know.
it on telly.
Like in a way, it's going to sound fucked up. In a way, it would be nice to see just a little bit of some of those like huge world events, like the Second World War.
I was going to say like the end of the war, like.
Well, it's just so like inconceivable to us, the idea that like your entire life could be uprooted through stuff that has nothing to do with you. And imagine what it would have been like to be like a fairly young person in like 1939. You're like coming out of university and like plotting your life, and it's like, well, shit, that's gone for 6 years, like due to stuff that's like absolutely unconnected.
They thought it was going to be over by Christmas, didn't they? I mean,
but there's that kind of like huge world-changing event. Because I mean, the only thing that's even close to that in our lifetimes is 9/11, and that really changed our day-to-day lives.
Well, I mean, in our lifetime, but for us, but it's happening to people in other countries now. I mean, like war-torn countries, right? I mean,
but I mean, you know, for us,
back then it was like more of a global thing,
reasonably
though.
unchanged.
I think that was the point.
But I mean,
It's getting dark.
not for America. Like, didn't touch them for a long time, did it?
No. You know,
Anyway, so too much
that,
detail.
and we obviously had like the fall of the Berlin Wall. We were pretty. I mean, I vaguely recall that. But, I mean, there's big things that have happened in our lifetime, but I'm not saying I'd love to see the Second World War. It'd be exciting. It's
The shit
more
you
that,
didn't experience, you wanna?
Yeah, it would just be that would be kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah,
and horrible in equal parts. But
that or the release of Empire Strikes Back.
No, because you could
World
see
War
it in the
II,
cinema.
Empire Strikes Back.
I just said
They're both great wars. Don't get me wrong. Star, World,
Fucking hell.
both great.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know what year specifically because I forgot which specific period, but when like shit like the pyramids are built and shit, I want to see that. That is like, I just love ancient history and just Egypt, ancient Greece. I know they're not on the same timeline, but still, like, that shit would be amazing. Like, to actually see it happen, because everyone right now is just really fucking stumped. They're like, how? And I'm
So
just
you
like,
just want to go back there and go, guys, you know, you're going to kick yourself.
they're gonna fucking
It was
believe
only
it.
bloody...
Loads of people say it's water, which is the most
I
plausible.
don't think water built the pyramids. That's
Obviously not,
ridiculous.
but that's how they transported the massive stones from the quarries. But anyway, I watched a lot of documentaries on this shit for some reason. But I just ancient times, all
But I mean,
mummies
like,
and pharaohs.
that's more achievable because it's like, you know, just get a Stargate, pop back. Job done.
Stargates don't bring you back in time. Just saying. Although only sometimes when there's a solar flare. It just revealed how much I know about
Wow.
this joke.
Fucking nerd. Right, more questions.
okay, it's my dip.
I thought you were going to say it's your dick.
My dip.
The question about my dick.
Oh no, I'm gonna veto that one.
Right.
It's a bit boring.
Veto had.
It was like, what do you think the secret of a good life is? No one gives a shit.
That's from your fucking list that you were just like, no, you've got to have that list.
That's because it's offensive in most parts.
Oh god, this is kind of dull as well. What songs are included on the soundtrack to your life? I guess that's
Fucking
I don't know song names. I just have a playlist on
that
my
one that goes da
phone.
da 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 da.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is quite a dull
Yeah,
question.
Alright,
let's
pick
have
another
dip.
one. There's loads.
Yeah.
We've already kind of
Keep
gone
rolling.
over music, haven't we? So I feel like we're retreading some ground. Let's see if third time's a good one. What is your first memory of being really excited? I'll take this. Right.
You said you would take it.
Well, I'm
so you
taking the question.
do it.
Do you want me to go with? Okay, so maybe not my first one, but one of the ones I remember really freaking out at was when my dad got us a Mega Drive. I don't think I was even really sure what it was. I
Was
just
it like
remember opening it.
Nintendo 64? But Mega Drive instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was dimly aware of what it was, but it came in like a really large box and had a picture of Sonic on the front. I just remember like running around the house freaking out at that. That was pretty
Were you
big.
just like spinning?
Spinning around the house.
Yeah, and then I jumped on top of television and got 10 rings.
I really didn't see that coming.
No,
That was great.
that was really good.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, you?
Yeah, I mean, now you've just set me on. I hadn't really thought it through, but yeah, you've set me on a Christmas presents path, and I'm going the same direction, which is like remembering Game Boy. It's all about the Game Boy at some point, and getting that for my birthday. I think there's loads of birthday memories and Christmas memories because they stick out. Obviously, like getting Transformers for Christmas.
When you're young, that's all you get excited about is fucking toys.
It's just like every like an hour seems like a day when you're a kid. And it's like, this is so annoying. Your mum goes, I'm going out for an hour, and like, Jesus, an hour! Oh my God!
And now it's like an hour. I don't have time.
Yeah, it's like, oh Jesus Christ, more hours in the day. But yeah, I remember getting Transformers and then like specifically getting the Game Boy with Tetris, Mario Land, and Batman the movie, which is one of the best games of all time. And then having to go to school, and despite its portable nature, my mum going, "No, don't take that to school. It's expensive."
Yeah.
I couldn't play it until I got home. It was just the longest day of school ever. That was excitement.
We
as a
used
kid.
to bring ours in and use a little cable to link them up.
I would have got nicked at my school.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would have gone. Excitement. Tell us about it.
Probably when I was really excited, except I think that was definitely the first time that I remember being like super, super excited and also not really understanding what was happening at the same time because I was so excited. It's when
not a story about...
No, it's not tragedy.
Dr. Fox, no, go on.
Dr. Fox?
Carry on.
What the fuck?
I should have made that reference. We'll cut that.
Yeah, on my 5th birthday, like my parents went out for fucking ages. They're like, oh, we're just going out for a few hours, picking you up a present or whatever. And I was like, cool.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I know. It's a birthday present, right?
Here's the horse.
No, it wasn't a horse. It was a puppy. And
As
I was
big
just
as
like,
a horse.
It was a puppy as big as a fucking horse, and I could ride it.
Was it 2 millimeters tall?
It was a dog fetus.
Then you've been had, Mum.
No, and I was just like, what the hell is this? And B, this is amazing. I have like this animal running around.
What kind of puppy was it?
It was a Labrador. What?
I don't like Labradors.
Labradors are the greatest things ever. And she was like super excited for like everything, and she'd run around the house and like...
Oh, the dog. I thought you were talking about your mum.
No.
My mum gave me this puppy and she was super excited about everything. Calm down, Mum. This is mine.
No, but I remember being sat, like I was sat with a babysitter, and because they told me the story later when I'd grown up, and I was like, where did you fucking go? Because they were out for ages. Like they said there would only be a couple of hours. They ended up being like an entire evening. They came back at like midnight.
But hold on.
They got fucking
I know
lost.
what this ties in with, because you've told me stories about your dad being a bit of a gangster. So I imagine he was just like running around the park just going like, snip, we'll have that one. And then whichever dog he could get away with.
That kind of gangster.
So he just drove 2 towns over, stole a dog, had to drive all the way back.
No, and I was like, those days, they were when he was really young. This was like fucking 70s or some shit.
You weren't alive in the 70s.
Exactly. I know. That's what
that's
I'm
when he
saying.
was a gangster.
No,
I thought you meant that's when he stole a dog.
No, I'm gonna get like police knocking at my door or some shit. He was not a gangster.
Okay, say that now.
Not entirely. Anyway, moving on.
Getting a dog. Great, right.
It's my turn,
Is it your
bitch.
turn?
Fucking
You get
hell.
excited about the bold
You're
Destiny's
getting
Child.
Pick a good one.
Oh, this is another childhood one. When you were small, which superhero did you like?
Like, superheroes weren't that big when we were young.
Yeah,
not
I mean,
like it is now.
I already answered this question, and it's Superman because I was a fucking idiot.
I
didn't really know any better.
I much prefer Batman, but I mean, if you think back to like on the late 80s, Batman was pretty much the only one that there was films of at that
My
time.
childhood
there was nothing
was
Superman,
like
there was nothing super...
Batman Forever and that sort of shit I used to watch.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like the greatest stuff ever. It
Joel
still
Schumacher.
is.
I remember I had the sticker book with Tommy Lee Jones.
like the first 2 Burton ones were fucking great. Like Batman and Batman
Returns.
They're awesomely made. So yeah, superhero things, like there wasn't a great deal of choice back then. There was no Spider-Man films. The Superman films are like already kind of passed by then.
I guess it would have been if you had,
passed the spider, didn't they?
Yeah.
I guess it would have been if you were like into comics and stuff, but I never really got into comics.
I remember being a kid and watching like the bad Superman, like after 2, like 3 and 4, and Quest for Peace and all that.
The end of 3 freaked me the fuck out.
I was going to say, I was going to reference.
What?
So the end of Superman 3, you're talking about the thing with all the
she gets trapped in the door and all that. Yeah, the metal starts flying on her face. It's weird.
There's like this thing where Superman has to go into this fortress thing, and there's a woman who gets kind of pulled into this big supercomputer that they've built. And it's Richard Pryor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking Richard Pryor. And Hackman. Gene Hackman, his mortal enemy. Lex Luthor. And she falls into this computer, and basically they sort of really badly animate all of these wires getting pulled across her. Well, not animate, but they physically pull all these wires across, and like all these sparks and things. And she basically turns into this really shit robot. It's basically what George Lucas based the end of Episode 3 on for the transformation of Darth Vader.
Oh, right.
Little niche reference. But then, she just comes out like painted silver. And like with little bits of circuit boards sucked over.
That was terrifying as a kid.
Right? It was really
fucked
up. Because you were just like, you'd watch this character for most of the film be this, I don't know, she was just one of the characters, this lady that was hanging out with Luthor, but
that's what she does.
Just got fucked up.
Do the Power Rangers count?
It's weird that we got the same.
The Power Rangers don't count, and I mean,
why?
You're not really a kid at that. I mean, we were a bit older than you are.
Yeah.
But are they superheroes? It's more of like a cartoon.
They fucking were.
But like, you think of superheroes as like comic book thing. I guess it's tied in.
It's not though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I was. Oh my god,
I was kind of into that. I mean, like Ninja Turtles was exactly our age.
We were Turtles because we were a bit older, so we were in like
I still had
Ghostbusters Turtles,
as well.
and then
Actually, the most disappointed I've ever been on a Christmas was the year when the it was the Ghostbusters backpack was the big toy.
They were terrible.
But I really, really wanted one, and they were fucking sold out. And I remember getting a bunch of Ninja Turtles instead, and just being like, "Yeah,
that'd be the greatest thing ever." Though.
Okay, but Ninja Turtles are just like figures.
Yeah,
I had plenty of figures. I didn't have a fucking backpack that you could run around with
and
like
capture
that.
ghosts with.
That's pretty great.
That is pretty fucking cool.
I never got it. I would still like a Ghostbusters backpack.
No, but I remember seeing that like years later. I think there's probably some in Snooper's Paradise down in the lanes.
I really want it.
But like, I'll find you one.
I know that the foam just twibbles around.
It's just a really shitty little foam
thing. You can get one
thing.
now.
Yeah.
You've got your own income now. You can buy whatever you want.
If any of our listeners want to send me a Ghostbusters backpack, I'm
going to make that dream come true for you, Tom.
Just put a Kickstarter.
My mum never made it right.
What was the question? I've totally forgotten.
No, that was me just interjecting.
Superhero, yeah. Okay. No, I was totally into the Turtles too. That was before Power Rangers. And I remember my mum, because we still had a flat in Paris that my nan lived in. So my mum would go back every now and again. And every time she'd come back with toys, obviously, because amazing.
Because you have a child.
Yeah.
All I wanted was a colander.
Towel utensils. She would, and one day she came back with like the full set of Turtles, and I was just like, "This is the best." And then
did you get
every
the bus?
Time, no,
damn it,
it's just so annoying. And then every time she came back from France and brought me new toys, it was never as good as all the Turtles toys that I got. And
so she peaked early.
No, she did.
Were you too young for the Thunderbirds mania?
No.
That came
I
but I just hated them.
Really?
Why?
I love Thunderbirds.
I
fucking loved it.
I'll tell you why. It came.
Don't look at it now. It's freaky as fuck. They CG'd them all.
Oh right, you mean now?
Yeah,
not
now.
Oh no, they've done a modern
looking
remake
back,
that looks horrific.
great, but the new fucking shit for some reason.
No, I loved Thunderbirds and I loved watching the show, but I didn't get like the kind of like obsession with toys and stuff. Like for some reason I just didn't make that connection. Maybe because they were puppets and I was fooled by them and thinking, well, these aren't toys. Why are they doing that? No, but like we had, like, you remember the time where everyone wanted to, like, Blue Peter made Tracy Island and like everyone was making Tracy Island. It was 1993 and I just wanted to make Jurassic Park Island. So my Tracy Island was Jurassic Park Island, and I made the little gates and I painted my Matchbox 4x4 to be the little Jeeps.
Oh, that's
cool. I was like,
cool.
fuck it, Jurassic Park's way cooler than Thunderbirds.
I mean, I saw Jurassic Park when it came out and I never was the biggest fan.
I
don't know what you're doing with your time.
I had everything. Like, I remember specifically I had this... it was like the book of the movie, and it had all the fucking... No, it wasn't like...
We need that as a topic one day, like novelizations. I had Stargate, the novelization.
It wasn't a novel. It was like... it was like a coffee table book of all like the props, like the director shit. Yeah, it was like a production book. It was fucking awesome.
That sounds good. Have you still got it?
No, I don't know where it is. I really, really want that book back.
That's good. Okay, so we've each got a thing, except for me, that we need to purchase for each other as some kind of secret Santa of WATcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got a superhero. Superman, it was bullshit.
Yeah, Superman is bullshit.
Death of Superman, very good book. Recommend it. This is a good question. And I think we'll wrap up after this one because I really need a wee. Name 2 things you consider yourself to be very bad at.
Oh, shit.
You've got to narrow it down to 2.
What? Shut up! I'm struggling to find shit that I'm really bad at.
2 things that I'm really bad at.
Dude, honestly. I don't know what I'm really bad at.
So I tend to avoid things that I'm bad at.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's it. So you know what they are, right?
Well, surely. I don't know. I'm very bad at any sort of like strategy game, like chess, any RTS, like.
So it involves planning and like
anything to do with real-time strategy, like chess. I'm fucking terrible at. I cannot do it. I'm more of like I'll just go in and do shit. I can't just sit there and think about it for ages.
I can't do any like Command and Conquer.
No, I can't do that
even
either.
things like I wanted to I'm fucking terrible at it. I can't plan it. I always get beaten up.
I reached the level with those kind of like, I know we're going back to games, but like with Command and Conquer and Red Alert, they were absolutely perfect for me. But nowadays, like guys in the office play League of Legends and like they're talking about Dota and games like that. I just can't. There's so much detail. It's like the RPG. Like levels of detail applied to then strategy and many things.
It's not the detail,
can't get into it.
It's just the time. Well, I can dedicate time to stuff, but I generally have an entry level of just like, if I'm not really good at this, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, so that's why I like.
When I started playing League of Legends, I was instantly shit at it, and I was like, not doing it. So I went back to Call of Duty.
Okay, so that's games you're bad at. Like you've got to name 2 things you consider yourself to be bad at. Okay, so strategy is one. What's the other one?
I don't know.
Modesty?
I'm bad at modesty. Yeah. I can't deal with that.
And talking about yourself, you already established you don't like
I am really bad at talking about myself.
Okay. Tell me.
1, baking. Can't bake to save my life.
I didn't see that coming.
No, really.
For some reason I thought you'd be a dab hand.
No, I'm good at most cooking, bad at baking. Can't bake to save my life. I don't know anything that I cook on instinct. So anything that and gas.
That phrase was just like I cook on instinct.
I've got an electric hob.
Just all of a sudden,
I took gas in a different sense.
I'm good at like cooking. I'll just sit down with a bunch of ingredients and I can cobble something together that tastes nice. But anything that requires me to like tortuously weigh out ingredients, it seems fucking dull, and I get bored. Can't be bothered with it. And I'd say I've got a pretty bad temper. Like I'm good at my temper passes quickly, but I often lose my temper quickly over relatively small things. I was going to
use that one.
You can't! I'm fine now, it's fine.
No, I get good example. No, I get really ragey at things really quickly and then immediately regain perspective about approximately an hour later.
I've never seen you ragey, I don't think.
Oh, I get annoyed at like dumb injustice-y thing. Yeah, I get so fucking livid.
But you go really quiet though when you're really livid.
Yeah, I just prefer to just repeat my own rage to myself in my head and just be like, oh, fucking. I just hate things that are unjust, or like I hate being like done over. Like we moved into a flat recently and like it was in a bad state when we got there, so I was immediately just like raged at the injustice and not being able to do anything about it, because you've signed a contract and they've already done you, so to speak. Anyway, that's not things I'm bad at. I'm bad at reading, we've established, and remembering things.
I've just remembered something that I was bad at.
My short-term memory is just just memory in general. It probably actually is bad at listening to be told things. This is just things with my girlfriend, but problems that we have. No, I just don't remember stuff. Like stuff doesn't stay in if I'm not like invested in it or like really like focusing on this detail. But I'm good at remembering pointless things.
Like quotes.
Like our fucking 20-digit Wi-Fi password at work. I
don't know how you fucking remember that. It's like
I'm not going to do it now.
That is a weird, obviously. It's a weird superpower. It is the most insane cobbled together thing
it's easy.
ever.
I've adopted it for a number of other accounts.
I don't know how you managed to do it. So I remember there's a second thing I'm bad at, mainly an offshoot from yours. I am terrible at remembering names. Like, god awful. I just cannot
God's
do
really
it.
good at it. Watch says all of us. Please do, carry on.
Yeah, it's really, especially like, just because I meet a lot of people all the time, and like, because I work mainly on online communities and shit, I remember people visually, so either their faces or their display pictures.
Thumbnails and things, yeah.
Yeah, so if you ever like come up to me and I don't remember your name, I do remember
Hold
you.
up a postage stamp size picture of yourself, or stand really far away with a frame.
No, it's not just that. Like, I remember faces. Like, I just remember visual shit. And if someone is just like, hey, my name is Mark, I'll call them, and then I'll reassign people names. Like, for some reason, in my brain, there's a guy I know called Kevin. His name is not Kevin. But I will refer to him to other people as Kevin, and they don't know who I'm talking about, and I always wonder why.
But I do that with people that I know who remind me of other people. Like, I'll reassign, like, in my head, like, oh, that's so-and-so who looks a bit like, you know, it's someone famous, or like they look like someone else that I've known in the past who I don't even know anymore. But that's how I help remember people. That's not how logic
that logic
not
doesn't
how anything
even
works.
It doesn't work like that in my brain. I just go, that's Kevin. But his real name, is his real name? I think it's fucking Steve or some shit. So I just go,
it's not Christopher again, is it?
No.
Or old Chesterfer. Right.
No, but it's like,
Let's
Kevin.
do one more.
All right, I'll have
your turn.
I think
Go
it's
on.
one last dip. Let's try and do a quick fire. See if this isn't a shit question.
Yeah, you've not had luck.
If you could change the world, what would you do?
Oh, boring.
I'm going to use my veto on that one. You can have mine.
let's start.
Bin it.
Fuck that shit.
Tom, bin it.
Nothing too aspirational. If you could choose anyone, who would you pick as your mentor?
Oh, nice. It was obviously Morgan Freeman. I've watched films.
Obviously.
He's everyone's mentor. What are you talking about?
No, man.
Andy Dufresne.
I don't know.
Mentor.
Will. Mine would be Will.
Mentor.
Well, come on. Like, I mean, you were saying you wanted to be a film director, right?
Yeah,
What if you'd had another director that you were like, oh, that would
I
talk
mean,
me
if
right
it's
out?
more just like somebody I would like to hang around with, then yeah, probably be Akira Kurosawa back in the day, because he would just love to like
I heard
soak
he's
up
your
his
boy.
knowledge. He's
Yeah,
my boy.
he's your
Him
boy.
or Hayao Miyazaki, the famed creator of Studio Ghibli. He just seems like a person that would be not necessarily fun to hang around with because he's a gloomy fuck.
Yeah.
You would pick up a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But we probably wouldn't have a great deal in common, being as he is an 80-year-old Japanese gent.
You never know, they're pretty mental and Japanese people. I'm just saying.
Who's your mentor?
I'm going to be really fucking lame just because I'm really into it. Probably like Captain Picard or some shit. That would be so
Does it have to
fucking
be a real
cool.
person?
Yeah, there was no, like, he's a real
God damn it.
person.
Okay, in which case,
Fuck
Riker.
You just... you need to learn how to sit on chairs properly. Well, real
If I could wear a beard that well.
I don't know. I don't really know for real people.
Right.
Real people.
Maybe you should read more real people. You should pick up.
Maybe
their
not
learnings.
those people.
I don't actually have a good answer either. I mean, it depends. I mean, like I was saying to you earlier, like we want to be something. It's good to have a mentor. I guess. Yeah, I guess I've probably had good mentors in like cool people who I've worked with.
We're a bit too old to have mentors at this stage, aren't we?
Yeah. We're too old for
We
this
are
question.
fully formed.
I don't know, because
Yeah, it's not going anywhere from here, only downhill.
I feel like we work with a lot of inspirational people who are technically...
that was my point.
Yeah, like I didn't want to say that because I was just like, oh, that's just...
But I'm trying to answer it with like, if I'd gone down a path of like when I wanted to do film or animation or something, then yeah, I would have probably picked like a Miyazaki or like, I don't know, fucking Nick Park or someone who just did things I thought was cool at that particular time. But now what I'm doing I think is cool and I'm happy with it. So yeah. Or like, I guess if I wanted to carry on like music professionally, like mentoring like someone like Steve Albini or like a really good producer who would just be able to teach me absolutely everything would be awesome.
Cool.
Right.
Awesome.
I think that's
That is
the end of episode 7.
That was Getting to Know You, episode 7 of WATcast.
So we went balls deep on that, guys.
We did go
Yeah,
pretty
we
deep.
did.
The thing is, we've now still, as you can probably hear, we still have the bowl of Destiny's Child. So I think we should make this.
We should definitely keep that.
I
Keep
think,
this
yeah.
as a feature.
Just roll it on.
loads of people
Because it will soak up a lot of
questioning.
that dead time when we're trying to think of good content. Let's just go back to the bowl.
I'm just going to get the bowl out. Cool. Thank you for listening, guys. We are available to listen to on a number of mediums. You can catch us at WATcast.net and follow us on Twitter at WATcast. On iTunes, we are available as well as Stitcher Radio. And
I've never heard of Stitcher Radio.
No, me neither. Is that the Android thing?
It's a thing that people listen to.
Excellent.
Is it the Android thing?
It's an Android thing.
Well, if you're listening to us on Stitcher Radio, then more power to you.
Yeah.
Great.
Props. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.